Alrighty, hi folks, welcome back to How to CAD Almost Anything MIT Summer 2026 edition. Today we are already in session 6. As always, because we are asynchronous right now, I don't get to ask you if you have any questions, we'll save those for the in-person session. So I'll jump straight into today's topics. So today, session 6 is actually very similar to what we've done previously with session 3 a couple of weeks ago, because this is all about reviewing stuff that we've learned in session 4 and in session 5, the last two sessions, and obviously the stuff that we've been building on from the prior sessions too. So we're gonna do this by going into two projects, which include an accordion and a 26 string harp. Let's take a look in here. So we're gonna draw an accordion that looks a little bit like the one that we see on the left, and a harp that looks a little bit like the one on the right. Obviously, these are simplified models, which jumps in a minute into Creo, and I'll show you some pictures about that. But the reality is that this will have us employ in a little bit more of a creative way the commands that we'll be learning. For instance, if you look at the accordion, I think the more interesting aspect, more than say the piano key part or here these buttons, is this area in the middle. This area in the middle, it has like some wedges, and we'll probably use a combination of the blend command, probably some sweep as well, on top perhaps some symmetry, some rotations. So we'll get to that in a moment. Meanwhile, with the string harp, honestly, this is not a difficult object to do either. The complicated part will probably come more from doing all of the individual strings, drawing the lines, and drawing a sweep through all of them. It's like similar to the way that we've done stringed instruments in the past. So not necessarily difficult objects in terms of techniques, but a little bit more fun in terms of how you're implementing the commands that we've been learning to achieve a little bit more interesting looking geometries. So that being said, let's jump straight into Creo and let's get started with today's session. Alrighty, so now we're back in Creo, which means that we can get started. And the first project for today will be this, the accordion. I think it's not going to be too difficult to do, although it always ends up taking a lot more time than we envision. But what I'm definitely going to start by doing is this portion in here, which is probably the trickiest part of our instrument right now. This is like like a curved, mechanism that you have in there, where you have some ridges going on. We're going to use a lot of the blend to achieve this result. I think this is not trivial, but I was already experimenting with a technique, and I think it's going to work, and we can make it look pretty similar to what this looks like in here. It's not going to be identical, but it will be all right. It will be a decent result. And I have a bunch of pictures in here, so let me start by showing you how I would design this part, and then honestly, the remainder of our instrument is going to be much easier to do. That one I'll probably speed it up, and I'll let you watch it at 8x the speed. So let's go here. So now we're in Creo. I'm gonna go to new. Let's call it accordion. Let's go OK. Now let me go here to File, Prepare, Model Properties. We're gonna change our units as always. Let's go here to centimeters. That's our set. OK. Close. Close. Perfectly. So if we look at our picture in here, what we would notice is that you would have this. There's a lot of symmetry in a way. You could do only one of those wedges, if you will, and then make a circular pattern along an axis that we're going to define, and you can replicate that design. So if you look at this one, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, approximately. So you have 16 of these wedges, which means that if you wanted to do we might not end up doing 16, but if you wanted to do, for instance, a 60-degree angle overall, then you can split that up into as many as you would, wedges as you would want. So if I go here, we're gonna start by doing a sketch where we're gonna draw. We're gonna do first the circle, and this is gonna represent now that angle that I was describing. So let's make that 200 as an example. So then we're gonna start by drawing a straight line, and now another line. And here we can say, I don't know, let's say we want a 45-degree, opening overall. Or actually maybe 60, 45. Okay, good. So now what we have to do is draw another wedge like this one. So now this is where we say, well, if you have 60 degrees, so you would do, let's say 60 over 12 as an example. So that gives us 5. So we can have 12 of these wedges, so slightly less, but it, we'll still get to the result. Now, obviously, we're not going to use the entirety of that wedge. That's going to delineate the area where we're going to be working on. So for instance, I can draw yet actually another line, and I'm going to use this as a, I'll draw it like this. And the angle of this one, I'll make it this time 57. No, actually it has to be 57.5. That was right in the middle. And what we can draw is a line that comes like this, and that's gonna represent the one of the sides. So if I, no, I don't want that angle in there, but I could say I want that to be 5 as an example. So you could make that opening be like that. So we're gonna leave that like that. And then over here, we can do the exact same thing, where I can draw like a line of sorts that's gonna come like this. Now, I don't want anything to be perpendicular. Instead, what I'll draw is a line that's gonna come like this. And I want that one to be perpendicular to this one in here. So I'll make perpendicular line, control that, and we'll do the same thing here. Let's say perpendicular 1 and 2. There we go. And then coincident point and line. There we go. Good. So why am I taking the work of doing this? Because then I can define nicely a little wedge like that. So suppose we're gonna get it all the way like this. I think this is gonna be decent. Maybe I'm gonna increase that a little bit, and I'll say I want that to be 1. And we're gonna move a point more, even though the angle is kind of being modified. So let's say 57.5 again. There we go. No, I think that's, oh yes, I say 1 as well. Say 0.8. Excellent. Okay. So now that seems to be mostly defined. So this is gonna mark the area of one of our wedges. So I'll click on OK. Now, this is where the fun part begins. We're gonna start drawing planes. So actually, I do need to go to sketch 1, and the first plane that I'm gonna draw is one that's gonna be perpendicular to that line. So if I make these two perpendicular, it's gonna be with respect to that line. Good. And the other one will be with respect to this line in there. So I'll make another line like that, perpendicular 1 and 2. Do. Oh, I see. There we go. So perpendicular 1 and 2. Great. So I have these two lines. I'll go to OK. So now we go to our friendly plane, and I'm gonna click on that one and that point, and we go to our first plane. And then I'm gonna click on plane again, and I click on this line and that point. Okay. So what do we have? 3 planes that all intersect right there. And just because we're here, I can create an axis, and I can select that plane and that plane. And you see you have an axis that goes right over there. Good. We have most of the building blocks of what we're going to be using now. So let's start to draw something. So I can start by doing a sketch on this plane. So we are in our first one in here. And what I can do is a projection of construction lines of that and that guy. And I click on OK. And then I can just draw a rectangle that will come like this. So I can make that, let's say, 100. Now it's here where we go back to our picture and we have to get an idea. But that might actually be too much. So maybe, let's say, 60. Even though, fortunately, given the method that we're using, we can always come back and modify many things. Now, we're going to do something here, which is a fillet. So we're going to select these two lines, And let's make that 5. I know normally I recommend not to do fillets on sketches, but for the technique that we're going to be using now, and especially because we want to leverage symmetry, then the circular pattern, and then using the blend, it will be very useful in order to do as little features as possible. It's all a matter of having a good sketch. So we have that in there, and we'll make that 5 too. Let's do it here. So we're going to do it on every single one of our corners. 5, one more over here. Excellent. 5. Good. So we have one of our sides done. Let's do sketch now on that plane, which is the, so we're gonna draw the exact same thing, same approach. So this is a little bit repetitive, but we're gonna go here to project, construction mode. We're gonna project that line and that line, and we'll click on good. And now we draw a rectangle that's gonna come like this. Ooh. Excellent, just like that. And we're gonna make that, whatever we said the height was gonna be 60. Excellent, and now we go again and we draw fillets. We'll make that 5. Let's draw another fillet here. And 2 more. So you can start to see where this is going. So now, once I'm done with this one, I'm gonna start doing a new sketch in the remaining middle plane. But the catch about the sketch that I'm gonna draw now in here is that it's gonna be a small rectangle. So we've done everything properly. I should be able to project that line and that line, it doesn't matter. And you should see them all coming in the middle. Now, am I doing this? Oh, I'm in the wrong plane. Cancel, yes. Sketch here, there we go. So now project that line. Oh, construction mode, project that one and that one. Good. So now you see them both popping up in the middle. So then I'll do another construction line that's gonna go like this. So now I am right there in the, I can identify the middle point. So then we can draw a center rectangle, and this one really can be anything that we want it to be. But this looks, I could say, let's see if I can make that a 5, and let's make this, and do, let's see if I can define the distance here. Do, I don't know, maybe I should modify it from here, let's say 70. Okay, I think that's fine. But now here goes the key. We need to do again a few fillets. So we go back there and sure, maybe let's try with a little bit lower, a lower number than before. Instead of 5, we're gonna make them 4. Like that. Let's do another one here. 4, and the last one. 4. Perfectly. Good. So we have a bit of a mess of a sketch, so let me hide a few things. That way things become easier to see what we're doing. So we have one wedge, then one in the middle, and then another wedge. So technically, if we've done everything correctly, this is how we're gonna proceed. We'll go over to shapes, then to blend, selected sections, and we're gonna click on this one and add. Then that one and add, and then that one. Good. So it looks a bit of a mess. So what we have to do right now is move some of these points. So I'm gonna play around. Let's see if I find. Honestly, I might need to remove that section for a second to play around first with this point. There we go. So I got that is correct. And now let's add here Where are you? Wait, I need to drag you here. And okay, good. So we have a choice to make, which is we could leave everything rounded like we have in here, or if we go to options, we can make it straight. Now this straight looks a little bit cleaner, even though I'm gonna go here to cancel because I forgot to do one last step, which is I'm gonna go here to extrude, and we're gonna do a symmetric extrusion of 1. And you will see, well, maybe even 0.5 to be honest. And you will see why I'm making this. And let me do another symmetric extrusion of, let's say, 0.5 over here. And I'll say, okay, because, oh, no, that was the, the wrong one. Even though it wouldn't look bad at all if we did it that way, but it wouldn't be quite realistic. I think what we're gonna achieve is gonna be better. But let me go back here to extrude over there. Again, symmetric, 0.5. Great. And now you see how in the actual ones you have like these nice, you can say like plated borders in there, so we can achieve a similar effect with what we're gonna do. We can go over to sketch that face. And already, in fact, I can make everything be like plated like that, or just the borders, it should be fine too. But what we can do is a nice, where are you in here, offset, and we're gonna select rule-based complete loop. And we can say sure, great, and let's modify that number to be 1 as an example. That should be fine. I go here to okay, good. And now we're gonna do the same thing here. Sketch on that face. And we're gonna do an offset. There we go. Rule-based, complete loop, 1. Okay, okay, great. Now we're actually ready. So we can go over to, no, shapes, blend. So, oh no, sorry. Selected sections, confirm. We're gonna go 1, add 2. And now again, we need to move the points upwards. There we go, 1. And then add 2 here. Oh, and that's perfect. And let's go to options, straight. We'll do okay. So we are almost done. What I can do is I'm gonna hide these sketches for a second. Then I could maybe right now add that effect that I was just mentioning. So if we go over to sketch, over here, I'll do a sketch in this phase. And suppose you wanted it to extend like a little bit, so I can go here to, let's say, actually, switch sketcher, yes. I might do it on that plane. So I'll go here to sketch. And I might need to, actually, let me go here to cancel for a second. And actually a PSA to save your file before you lose everything like I've done in the past. So all of our sketches, maybe that one, no, that one I don't need it. So let's do sketch on that plane. Okay, good. And I'm going to project that line. Actually, a few lines. I'll do that one. Wait, not that one. I'll do that one. I'll do that one. And I'll do that one. I'll go to OK. And now what we need to draw. Oh, and then I would need to project a few more. Let's see. Actually, what I could have done now that I realize it is, I should be able to Yeah, yeah, then I think I'll just project everything. Let me do that really quickly. So then I'll just cut the lines that I don't want. So I'm gonna add them like this. One more. Hmm, there we go. Okay, so now it full shows us fully connected. But now what I really wanna do is a piece that goes like that. And we will define the height in a second. So I can say, well, I want the length from that point and that point to be, let's say, 3. And I'm gonna make it like this in all of them. So I'll do point and point, 3. Then I'll come back here. So the thing about this is that probably I'll be able to do a mirror. That way it shouldn't be like too much work, but it's a little bit tedious work, right? It's a little bit of manual work. We go here to 3. Let's go like that. So oh, letter D, select those 2 points, bold command. There we go. Let's do one more, 2 more actually. Let's do D, 1 and 2. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. 3. Now D, 1, 2, 3. And let's see, did we do that one? No, not yet. So let's do it very quickly. All right, let's do D, 1, 2, and finally over here. Great. Oh, excellent. So now I'll go to delete segment and I'll get rid of that one, that one, that one, and that one, that one, and that one. My question is that fully connected? We'll find out soon. That one and that one. And that should be it. Okay, good. So now, moment of truth, where I'm gonna extrude, not remove material, and we're gonna do 0.75 symmetric. And then what I realized honestly is that I could have made that. Now that I think about it, I could um have done a little bit of an extension there, which is a bit of a mistake on my front. So maybe I might change that. I might change that now. So let me go to cancel, cancel, yes. Alrighty, so at least now we have this little border effect, which honestly looks kind of pretty. I like overall the outline in there. I had to do a little bit of a last minute offset, but at least now you can see that it's like a distinct piece, which is really what I wanted. So then if we go to, I believe it's DM2, good. I can do, let's see if I can select this feature, then go to mirror, and then DM2, and then I click on OK, and you see that they currently appear there. Good. So we've done honestly a good bit from here. And then last thing that I could do is around. That's gonna go all the way through. That is too much. So if I go for a 0.5, that will probably look cleaner. And I'll say, okay. You have a nice piece. There we go. Excellent. Good. Let me save. So now I think we're ready for the moment of truth, where I can start by selecting one of these and then saying, well, overall, if the goal would be to have, I guess, 12 of these, then let's see. So I'm going to go here to pattern, do pattern. I'm going to do overall axis. We're going to select A1. We're going to revert the direction. We're going to say that we want an angular extent of 60. And then we want, I guess, we would want 11 of these because we already have. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, actually, you're right. I need 12 of these. There we go. Let me click on OK. So now we have, okay, 12 of these. So if we go back to our original sketch, let me show, well, actually, not that one. I mean, that one. Right, because we're doing, no, I see what's going on. So then I should go back to, I think I did the math slightly wrong. I'm gonna go back to, not to this. Let me go back to that pattern. I'm gonna edit that pattern. Instead of 60, I should do 55. There we go. Now, yes. So now you see how it's aligning where it has to go. Excellent. So we got 1. Now let's do that extrude I don't need. So let's do the blend. This is gonna be the fun one. Let's see whether it works. So pattern. Now axis, A1. Now we revert the direction. Then we say angular extent. Then we say 55. And then we say 12. And then we click on OK. And good. It did our approach. That's great. Now let's do extrude free. So let's go over to pattern. There we go. Axis. Then A1. Then angular extent, 55. We're gonna say 12. Revert direction. Excellent. Say OK. Good. And now they're all popping up. And then, and I want to look at the effect in here. Yeah, and it kind of looks nice on this end too. And now to wrap things up, we're gonna go here to round. And let's see whether this one show reference. I'm gonna select pattern free. And let's say, okay. So does it do it? Yes, it does. Excellent. So now we have our overall pattern of the accordion. Excellent. Okay, so I'm gonna save this right now. I'm gonna hide sketch 1. This is really what I wanted to narrate in terms of the of our instrument, because then if you look at the overall pictures, I think the remainder of this thing should be relatively easy to do, which is what I'm gonna proceed. But I can give you an idea. I'm gonna start by doing the overall front piece, where in essence, if we look at a picture in here, actually, if you look at the side, it comes, I'm just gonna extend the like the protrusion per se, and then I'm gonna create an overall profile. I'll bring it downwards, then I'll create all of the individual keys, as you can see there. I'll create like the sound. So all standard things that we've done in the past, but feel free to stop it if there's anything that isn't clear. So let's go ahead and do that. Alrighty, this is as much as I'll do for now for the accordion. Honestly, I think it looks quite beautiful. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied with the result. What you can see in here. Obviously, you can always spend more time and try to add more details, but I think it's pretty recognizable with the way it looks like right now. At least based off from the pictures that we were using. In here, I didn't add this one piece in there that you would use to actually connect into, say, if you're holding it using a string or something like that. But otherwise, it should contain most details. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, this portion of the video, because now we're going to continue with our next project in just a moment. Alrighty, so having finished our previous instrument, the accordion, we can continue with the next one, which is the harp. Precisely the model that we can see right here in the screen, which has 26 strings. This doesn't look particularly difficult to do at first glance. You see, you have already like a nice fitted structure that we can do there. Then overall, this trapezoidal shape, and then a bottom stand. So it shouldn't be that complicated. Perhaps the more interesting aspect of this instrument will come around here when we do all of the different strings. But you see, you have two different pegs from where everything will be attached. So we'll probably spend some time making that look nice. We could also make it in such a way that, yes, this looks like two different kinds of wood, like you have that wood and that wood. Maybe I might try to work on that as well. I think that shouldn't be particularly tough to do, but we shall see. But at least I propose we get started. We start by drawing the overall shape, and then we'll get into the strings. Yeah, so probably I might just go for it. I might not even stop, but please feel free to stop if there's any aspect of what I'm designing right now that seems interesting. Alrighty, folks, this is it. This is the completed harp. I think it took a little bit of time to get the strings right, but overall, I think I'm pretty happy with the result of this instrument. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching this video and that you were able to stop it wherever you found any doubts. And well, I'll see you next time on the following session. Bye bye.